I don't think I have to say this, but I'll do it anyway, just because I know some of y'all are gonna be like, what the? Why did you spoil me? Go watch the show before you watch this, and tell me what you thought of it in the comments. So here's your spoiler alert. Tread on carefully, children. Hello, my loves. 2 things. Number 1, new setup! That's right, as you can tell from the background around me, I am finally in my new apartment. I will do an official apartment tour video at some point on my vlogging channel, but that is not the focus of today's video. Today, I will be giving a little spiel on the new animated Netflix show, The Dragon Prince, which ties into the second thing I wanted to bring up. The voice actors of Soren and Viren from the show, Jesse and Okalia and Jason Simpson respectively, started to chat with me and liked and retweeted my video entering the Dragon Prince fandom on Twitter. There it is. There's Jason saying hashtag Team Viren and Jesse actually saying thank you for my stupid video. And what is this? Your video had all of us dying? Who is all of us? It honestly never even crosses my mind that the people who work on the thing behind the fandoms will actually possibly see my videos, and when it happens, if anyone from the Dragon Prince crew is watching this video right now, hi, thank you for enjoying my silly videos. Great work on the show. Keep it up. I'm super excited for more to come. And you know, while we're on the topic, I do some freelance voice acting. If you ever need any extra voices later on in the show, hit me up for my voice demo reel. Anyways, I will be talking about things that I really liked, things that I didn't really like, things that kind of fell in between, and my overall impression of the first season of The Dragon Prince. Initially, my first thoughts after watching the opening sequence, the narrator talk about Zadia and the history of the primal magics and the elves and the dragons and the humans and dark magic, was that it felt a little uninspired. My first thoughts were, oh, this is like every other MMORPG game online, like Skyrim, like every other fantasy thing out there. It's just not very original. But as I continued to watch, I realized that this series really made that setting, that genre, its own. Yes, a lot of the elements are shared with other fantasy worlds, but the way the Dragon Prince sets it up, where they go, okay, this is how magic works, this is the source of the magic, this is the history of this world, this is where humans come in, and this is where the plot takes place and where it all begins, it actually works very well. As I kept watching and watching, I grew to realize that this was not just your run-of-the-mill fantasy show. This was gonna be something special. World building wise, I don't see it as a very original concept, but I don't think it's trying to be. I think it's just trying to spin the schema of what we know of the fantasy genre in its own direction, and I can appreciate that. Like, the whole show seems like it's setting up for the Dragon Prince being the main character, and oh, he's gonna be this super badass teen hero who saves the day, but no, it's not the case. You can just feel the kinship between this show and Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm not saying that it's gonna be like the next Avatar: The Last Airbender, but you can feel that, yes, this is the same writer, and I'm gonna get the same feelings that got evoked in the first show. Will it actually live up to its predecessor? I don't know. We're only in the first season, but I think we're off to a good start. Now I'll get into something else that I loved, the characters. Our 4 main characters, Rayla, Callum, Ezran, and Bait, I guess. I love them so much. First up, we have Rayla, who, despite being an assassin, feels empathy that gets in the way of her assassin duties, despite being the strongest and youngest of the Moonshadow Elves. I love that the fact she's a girl is never explicitly brought up, despite her being a badass. I absolutely hate it when shows try to go for woke points by having a super strong female character and explicitly go, wow, I'm a girl, but I can kick your ass. Or look at me, I'm super tough, but I have estrogen. Being a girl's not gonna get in my way. I'm gonna do things the way I want, because I'm a tough girl. Huh! The fact that the Dragon Prince just puts Rayla on equal footing as the rest of the characters from the get-go, doesn't even mention her gender. It's just, she's an assassin. She's really cool. She's keeping secrets. Thank you. Just, thank you. Sorry, that's just one of my biggest pet peeves in shows. Just the constant, I'm a tough girl, look at me. I'm going to... So yes, Rayla is put out as just another character from the get-go, and she has depth. It takes a while for her to warm up to the boys. It takes a while for her to share things about herself and secrets, even though she's not entirely truthful with them. She struggles. She eventually embraces her empathy, and by the end of the season, you already know that she went through growth. She's blunt, she's sarcastic, she has a soft side that she's afraid of embracing. She wants redemption for her parents. She is still shrouded in some mystery. So I really like Rayla and can't wait to see where she goes. Next up, we have Callum, who fits into the awkward, I was thrust into the situation protagonist. And with Callum, I'm a little less wah with him just because I've seen his type of character a lot in media, but I am still very excited to see where he'll end up. He went through growth as well. I still think that he has a lot of potential, and I really can't wait to see what happens with him later on in the story. I love how he loved his brother so much from the get-go. They easily could have made him be resentful to Ezrin, but no, he was ready to sacrifice himself for his little half-brother, and it's really sweet. You see Callum struggle being in a station that he wasn't born into. You see him struggle with magic and learning how to use it. The fact that he's on the path to being a mage is super cool. They could have easily made him this natural prodigy when it comes to magic from the get-go, but no. He struggled. He is still trying to figure out, like, okay, how does this magic stuff work? And it's refreshing to see a character have to work at being good at something rather than just, oh, he's a natural. All of this is just going to make the end of this series feel that much more satisfying. It makes you wonder how he's gonna use magic later because no more Primal Stone. And then Ezrin is just the cute little kid character who tags along, is the happy-go-lucky one who keeps the optimism flowing in the group. He's just a needed addition to balance out the older kids' more pessimistic tendencies, I think. And he gives some pretty sage advice as well. He helps the two of them along in their journey, and taking care of him when he falls through the ice and is sick brings everyone a little bit closer together. So Ezrin is the adorable jelly sticky glue that holds our team dragon together. Bait is just bait. I like how he actually brings the plot forward a few times through their little shenanigans, whether it be in the river or him eating all of the berry juice. It's just, he's not there for, oh, animal companion character who does absolutely nothing. He's interesting. Then we have the prodigies that share a brain cell. Claudia and Soren. Despite being children of the main baddie, they are super ridiculous, funny, they provide a lot of the comic relief in the story, and you really want to know, are they gonna actually stand by their father, or will they help our heroes? It's honestly thrown up in the air right now. Like, you want to think and you want to say, oh yeah, of course they're gonna help the kids, they're friends, they're not gonna cause them any harm, but then you realize that, oh, they're actually really good at what they do, and they love their dad. Oh, my money's on the fact that they're good people, and they're going to be good characters that take the good side of the plot. It's just, they will have a little bit of an internal struggle with, oh no, what should I do? Or better yet, what if one of them sticks with the dad, and the other one goes off with the kids, and then they split up? Ooh. We could have had the villain's kids be, I'm going to avenge my father and put him on the throne! But instead we get the ridiculous dumbasses we love so much. Next up we have Viren, or as many of you like to call him, Viagra, virus. What are you guys smoking? He is manipulative. We see that going on in action. We don't know a whole lot about him. I mean, what was with that butterfly draining scene? Was he sucking out their energy for dark magic purposes? Or is he actually the main baddie shown in the beginning and he's immortal? He's eager, he's power hungry, he's desperate to sit on the throne and get more of that sweet, sweet dark magic under his belt. It's really nice to see a villain with actual story behind him, instead of just having, oh, this is a bad guy, this is his goal, defeat him. He's not just that wall they have to break down eventually. He has motive, he's scheming, and he has his fingers in many different little pies trying to get what he wants. Even if you don't like him, you have to admit, he's an excellent villain. General Amaya is, Amaya, please step on me. Once again, here's a strong female character that isn't constantly pushed to us as a strong female character. She's just another character with another story. With her being deaf and using sign language, not only is it nice and refreshing to see, but it adds that much more depth to the world of the Dragon Prince. This world could have easily fallen into the typical Middle-earth-esque setting, but it didn't. It has so much diversity, racially, with disability, and they're not made to be main points in the story. They're not made to be these redeeming qualities in the characters. It's just another thing going on in the world, and it makes it that much more exciting for the viewers to see and to appreciate. And as a multi-ethnic person myself, seeing Callum and Ezren as the main characters, not gonna lie, it it makes me feel a little emotional, because you never really see that in media, at least none that I've seen. If you have any recommendations with like biracial characters, then let me know. And it's just all so natural, so genuine, so organic. It's really special. Then we have King Harrow, a king who feels remorse for his prior actions and is ready to accept the consequences of them. He is a wise king, he's a great father, and I am very upset that we didn't get to see more of him. Or will we in the future? His soul's in the bird theory! Usually with fantasy books, shows, and series, the king is either seen as this all-wise, all-knowing guy who knows just what to do at the right time, or this power-hungry monarch who refuses to see the error of his ways and has his pride constantly stop him. King Harrow edges that. He is the border of this two-sided coin. He has pride, but he is willing to admit that he's done wrongs and will pay the price for them. And you can't forget about Gren. We need more Gren! I almost forgot! The most beautiful man in this whole series, Vernan. I know I'm not the only one who has a weakness for purple-skinned, long, white-haired characters. From what we've seen of Vernan so far, minus him being, you know, currency now, he has pride, he refuses to give up, he sees orders out to the end, he's serious about what he does. I want to know more about him. I really hope that we get to see sneak peeks of who the leader of the Moonshadow Assassins actually is. Maybe how he ended up training Rayla, or, you know, his probable boyfriend in the credits. He has the potential to be a really cool rogue-esque character. We just didn't get to see a lot of that, minus the fight scenes he had. A good question is, how the heck are they going to realize he's trapped in the coin and then get him out? Now I'm gonna go ahead and go into things that I felt were pretty okay and things that I wasn't too fond of, but can still find some redeeming qualities in. The animation is hotly debated. I personally thought it wasn't bad. It was a little weird sometimes. It felt as though it were buffering, or it was flat one second, all of a sudden like, oh, just kidding, it's not. It was a little disorienting occasionally, but I still liked how different it was. The choppiness kind of adds to the storybook-esque feel of the show. It took a little bit of getting used to, but I don't hate it. It's neat. Writing-wise, it's important to remember, I think, that this is a show geared towards a younger audience, so it's not going to be super prosy and pedantic, but it did feel a little cheesy sometimes. But again, that's the show. I'm not gonna complain about something that it's supposed to be. With the humor, I think they actually balanced a good amount of more quote-unquote adult humor. The bull droppings joke, for instance, with some more of the childish humor, like, I don't know, Callum and his jerk face dance. It kind of fell flat a couple times. Like, I think they were trying to go for like the sassy, almost Avatar vibes, and it didn't quite work in some situations, but it was enjoyable. Rayla's dark, dead humor with Callum's kind of like, oh, look, I made a funny, and Ezren just being a ball of sunshine. I think it works I was gonna say humoristically, humor-wise. I don't even think humoristically is a word. Now with the pacing, some fans were saying that they felt it was too slow, that it dragged on a little bit, that they got bored in the first few episodes. Also important to remember that this is the first season of the show, so it's going to be spending time laying out the premise, the plot, the history of the world, and how their adventure starts, so it's not going to be gung-ho from the start. Hence why I'm pretty forgiving about this season kind of dragging in certain places. That and the fact that I personally would rather have a series pace feel a little slower than what's comfortable than have it move too quick to the point where I feel like I'm dragging behind or am missing important information. Pacing is very important, especially with Netflix shows when the entire season is dropped at once and you're getting everything just spread out on the table in front of you from the get-go. And with this first season, I think the Dragon Prince did a pretty good job. Hopefully, if and when we get some future seasons, it won't be like Ruby in that it feels like they're just walking through the forest for the entire season. We still have a lot of story to cover, a lot of secrets to unfold, a lot of plot lines thrown into the water, so hopefully we'll get those future seasons to explore all of that. Is it now my new favorite show ever? It's a little early to tell, but I think we're getting off on the right foot, and I am very excited to see where it will go down. For my favorite character right now, I'm gonna have to say it's a tie between Rayla and Claudia. I see a lot of parallels between the two. They're almost foils in a way, so it's gonna be interesting to see more of the interactions. Runan is just hot. I like to appreciate that, but I don't know enough about him to be like, yes, my new favorite character! General Maya is awesome as well. I want to see more of her history, maybe where she came from in the army, how she rose to power, how she felt about her sister getting married to the king. One of my favorite little bits was when Gren was in the dungeon, and then he was having that little conversation with Viren, and Viren was like, oh, I'm so sorry I'm late for our engagement, and Gren was like, yeah, no worries, I have a few complaints. And then Viren was like, oh yeah, just let me hear them. And then it ends with Gren being, oh, well, I don't like being tied up. And then Viren's like, well, thank you for your feedback. With ships, it's pretty early to get on the shipping bandwagon. I personally don't really ship anything right now. I mean, I know there's people getting on the Radia train, there's people hopping on the Callum and Rayla, what would that ship name be called? Rayla? Callia? Gren and Amaya is another one. I've seen people shipping Harrow and Viren. There's some cute fan art of Renan and the elf from the credits. I want to ship it, I really do, but I need to have, like, stuff to work with, you know? There's really nothing other than fan art right now. So that was my little talk about the Dragon Prince. Thank you so much for watching. If there is anything you want to share, then please put it in the comments. Who is your favorite character? What do you think of the world of the Dragon Prince? Do you like the animation? Where do you think it's gonna go? Do you ship anything? Thanks again for watching. I hope to do more of these videos in the future where I can just sit down and talk about series and episodes and season breakdowns. I was actually considering starting a podcast for it, but then I realized that would be a lot of work, so I might just stick with doing this, but who knows. Farewell, and I will see you in my next video.